Hey guys, it's Chris and welcome back to another House of the Dragon video. Today we're going to talk about episode 6, the little preview, as they usually release the little preview teaser. Let's break that down. We're going to do it stream style this week, make it a little bit easier. So let's jump right over here to the Tuesday they released after episode 5 and talk about episode 6 and what I think is going to happen. So obviously a minor spoiler warning for next week for House of the Dragon. So if you don't want to know anything, go in blind. Go ahead and click away from the video. Appreciate you stopping by. If so, we'll just talk about some minor things, what I think is going to be happening here. A lot's going to be changing. Remember, we're going to jump ahead about 10 years here. And we're going to have a lot of new characters coming in. Things are going to be a bit more complicated with all the new characters. Everybody's having kids now, all this kind of stuff, so I'll mention those. So anyway, let's jump right in here and see what we got. Quick shot here. Obviously, this is Caraxes with Daemon. I'm not sure where he's heading here. We don't see any more than this island. This could be back to the Stepstones. This could be Dragonstone. Daemon's probably heading to Driftmark, I would say, just based off the time period or whatever, since he is a father now at this point, and we'll get into that in just a second. So, Daemon here on Caraxes, the Bloodworm.
We should address the latest development.
Got a shot here of the small council, and they're talking about the Stepstones here, and we obviously see the whole council here. Lionel Strong's now hand the king, as he was. Viserys is still alive and kicking, although later on we do see him looking like a white straight up from beyond the wall. But for some reason here, Alicent's on the council. I don't know, she's sitting here. Rhaenyra is as well. Obviously, Rhaenyra being the heir, it's not a surprise. She had already been sitting there before. And then Tywin Lannister now is obviously here, still master of ships, all that stuff as well. But why is Alicent in here? I don't know. We get a little shot of her here in a second as well.
Developments in the Stepstones, my lords.
Where, I wonder, is our Prince Daemon?
It was a decade ago, and he has since left the region undefended.
So here we go. We got Alicent here sitting on the council now for some reason. I don't know. I guess it's to build more tension between Alicent and Rhaenyra, since Rhaenyra is technically on the council, being the heir. The named heir. So she's saying it's been a decade since Daemon took the Stepstones, and that Daemon left it undefended. And this is when Rhaenyra breaks in and says, no, we left it undefended. He did get it and capture it and brought his crown to Viserys. So it is the crown's technically.
We have left it undefended. My queen.
My queen. Little look at the look here. You know, a little tension here as building as we saw last episode. And I don't know, it's just odd. I don't know why Alicent's on the council. The queen's not on the council typically, but she's got her little ball in front of her and everything. So not sure what they're changing that for, but I guess to build more tension between the two queens.
What are children? But are we?
Got a young Aemond here. Look, young Aemond Targaryen here. If you like Daemon, you'll probably like Aemond when he gets a little older. This is the younger version of Aemond, so we will see him get older. Now, I was going to say here with this next shot that I'll play really quickly.
But a weakness.
This could be when he goes to take his dragon Vhagar, but with the rest of the episode, there's still somebody riding Vhagar, being Laena Targaryen, being Daemon's wife at this point. So I don't know if this is just him thinking about taking a dragon and unsuccessful here, because you can't really see if this is Vhagar or not. We did see the shot of Vhagar in the other teaser, but obviously it's hard to tell here. It looks a little small, honestly, to be Vhagar. Perhaps we do another time jump in this episode, perhaps. I'm not really sure they would do that. I don't think they will. Maybe this is Aemond when he's first wanting to take a dragon or first attempting to or whatever, and it doesn't work out with this one. And later on he does take Vhagar because, again, right now, Laena is still riding Vhagar, which I said in the live stream Sunday, they should have shown Laena flying to King's Landing for the wedding, just like they showed Rhaenys riding Meleys and Laenor riding Sea Smoke. They should have shown Laena riding Vhagar, so I don't know why they didn't show that. But anyway, we have a shot here of Aegon the second as he's grown up a little bit here, but he is kicking down either Lucerys or Jacaerys here. This is one of Rhaenyra's children. Obviously, you see what's going on here. Rhaenyra's child has brown hair. And this is what basically most Targaryens, Velaryons, all that stuff look like with this type of hair. This is going to be the major issue here during this time period. So it's going to get a little more complicated with a lot more characters now that we're jumping ahead 10 years. We see them in the training yard here. This is Sir Harwin Strong, otherwise known as Breakbones. I guess he's not Breakbones quite yet. He will be. He'll earn that nickname later on, I'm assuming. But he is kind of the master at arms and helping them train in the yard at this point. So he's helping Aegon and the kids. And the kids are probably his. If you hadn't caught that already, he's got the same brown hair. We saw him in various episodes with shots, little quick shots with Rhaenyra. And obviously last episode, Rhaenyra and Laenor decided, you know what, we'll get married, we'll do our duty. But Laenor being gay, they'll just have the taste of their own and go do their own things as far as their needs, so to speak. Anyway, so this is going to be a major plot point going forward as far as what's going to start escalating this thing really, really quickly into the actual dance of the dragons.
Through them, you imagine.
We see a quick shot here of the king, King Viserys here. 10 years later, he's still alive. You know, we knew he had to survive, but it looked like he might have dropped dead. We weren't sure if they're going to change things, but you can see here, he looks like a fucking white from beyond the wall, as I said before. All the scars and stuff up here. So again, as we mentioned in the live stream, apparently he is suffering from leprosy in the show. This was never a book thing. To my knowledge, it was a completely different health issue that kind of came on over time, and then that's what ended up causing his downfall. But they're going with the leprosy thing, which is, by the way, contagious. You would think Alicent may or may not get that, but he is still alive, obviously, and he has to be because he's got to go away before the whole thing can break out with Aegon being named king over Rhaenyra, which is obviously what starts the Dance of the Dragon in the first place. So they're watching over the training in the yard.
You persist forever.
Very cool shot here of a older Laena here now. So this is what I didn't know. I really didn't keep up with the casting news prior to the show coming out that much, so I didn't know we were having another older version of Laena. So this is going to be Laena. I'd imagine this is Rhaena. So she and Daemon will be married at this point and have twin daughters, Baela and Rhaena. Now Baela will ride the dragon Moon Dancer, but Rhaena here will later on ride the dragon Morning, but she doesn't have a dragon as quickly as her sister Baela does. So she's always wishing for a dragon. She carries dragon eggs around, hoping they'll hatch, and eventually one does hatch, named Morning, but it's obviously way too small and later on in the dance. And this is actually from the clutch of eggs that Syrax laid. So she actually had a hatchling when she was young, but the hatchling unfortunately died, so she always wanted to be a rider like her sister. And it looks like Laena here is already pregnant with her third child. So as you can see, a lot more characters popping in next week. A lot of things going to be happening. Get a little more complicated with all these kids running around. Have a dragon egg being opened here, and this may be, I think, probably an egg probably presented to Aegon at some point. We do see in the next shot here, Aegon the second, I mean, obviously, I believe we're going to see Sunfire here in a few minutes. And because this flashes right over to Aegon, so I'm assuming this is maybe being presented to him. It could be Baela or something like that as well, like we just saw. But when we see Aegon here, you hear the voiceover, "You will be king."
Will be our king.
Again, another shot here. This is why I think it's probably Rhaena instead of Baela, because she is holding the dragon egg and holding it by the fire. She wants this egg to hatch or whatever, so she can ride a dragon as well because her first hatchling died. So that's what makes me think this is likely Rhaena instead of Baela. They are twins. Baela is slightly older. So this will be the child of Daemon Targaryen and Laena Velaryon, or Laena Targaryen in marriage. So I'm really glad they're actually going to give us this little bit of a time period, because I thought they were kind of going to skip over the Laena stuff and kind of just mention it postscript or whatever it may be. So I'm glad we're getting some of this as well.
We are the blood of old Valyria.
There she is again, and then there she is in the next shot, saying we're the blood of old Valyria. But in this shot, you can see she is riding Vhagar. Now look how giant Vhagar is. This is Daemon over here on Caraxes. They're flying together. This is Laena over here, but look how big this is in comparison to other people you've seen on dragons. Look how big the wing is, just the arm for that matter. It's giant. I know you can't see behind me a little bit, enough to see how big Vhagar is. So I'm glad they're going through this time period with Laena and Daemon as well. He did obviously hit on her a little bit at the wedding, although he kind of walked past her after that and went to Rhaenyra. That'll be for later on. So anyway, I'm glad we're getting the Laena stuff with Vhagar.
But for
This will be Sunfire. This is what I said in the original teaser. We saw this come out. You can see a little bit better in the other one. This will be the Golden Dragon Sunfire, I believe, presented to Aegon. You can see the Dragon Keepers here. They're holding Sunfire here, still in chains or whatever. Still too small to ride. Obviously, you can see the size comparison, but obviously this is going to be probably Sunfire presented to Aegon, I believe. Now, it could be another dragon. I mean, again, I'm colorblind as hell, but I believe in the previous teaser, it was pretty clear this was a golden dragon, which Sunfire is. So this possibly could be Vermax or Arax as well, presented to Jacaerys or Lucerys, which would be Rhaenyra's kids. And again, things are going to get complicated. But if this is the same shot from before, it's Sunfire. So either way, it's one of these three new people we're going to see in the show getting presented with a dragon. But I believe it's going to be Sunfire the Golden.
you surrender what
See a quick shot here. Rhaenyra now with her son Joffrey in her arms, the youngest, and this is Jacaerys or Lucerys. I'm not sure who's playing who. Again, I didn't keep up with all the actors and stuff. They're fairly close in age, so it could be either one of them. somebody's coming to give them a message, so it's only a guess of who that could be. They're obviously hearing some news or something here, but this is going to be Joffrey in her arms, the youngest of the 3 kids, and they all have brown hair. And they're really, really strong, if you know what I mean.
You should not.
We see Lionel Strong here as well, and this is the voiceovers about, people can see, they see these children are not hers. This is the rumors, all this kind of stuff, and Viserys is having to deal with this as well. I feel bad for Viserys. He's been through so much shit. He's got the disease, and everybody just keeps on giving him bad news after bad news. So he's a good guy, bad king. I feel bad for the dude. I mean, he's going through hell and back, and he just can't catch a damn break.
Her father, compromised by the acts of her son.
You hear about the compromise of the sons and all that, and then we get the shot here of, again, Harwin Strong. This will be the real father of Rhaenyra's children, because even though her and Laenor are married, again, she's going to do her own thing. He's going to do his own thing, as well as we saw in the previous episode. So this will be the real father of these 3 children, and that's going to be a major, major rift. We see Breakbones here actually beating the shit out of Sir Criston Cole. This may get reversed here in the same fight or later on. I'm not sure how they're going to do it in the show. Got Kingsguard pulling him off, so this is during the training yard. Obviously, probably the same scene where Aegon and Lucerys or Jacaerys was training as well. Want to mention really quick before I move on, probably caused by the kids over here. They're going to be picking on each other. So the Aegon, for example, and the Targaryen side of the family that looks Targaryen are going to be picking on Rhaenyra's kids quite a bit because they don't look Targaryen, and they look, they got the brown hair, and they'll call them plain looking, and they'll call them strong and all this kind of stuff, and that's going to cause a lot of tension between the parents as well. Quick shot right there, if I move this back a little bit, of Jacaerys and Lucerys kind of during this fight here. So they're both training here, so again, probably the cause of all this in the first place. Then we get a shot of young Joffrey here. This is obviously Joffrey. You see Rhaenyra's hair here over here in the corner, and then Joffrey being the youngest kid. It can only be Joffrey with the brown hair here. So as we get the voiceovers about the kids that continue, which will be obviously the major theme of this episode.
God like that is a mistake. To have 3 is an insult.
So we hear Alicent here talking to the king, whispering in his ear. To have 1 child is a mistake. To have 3 like this is an insult. So she's basically full Alicent at this point. It's been 10 years. She turned last episode to the green side, and they kind of established the greens already, which I'm not sure why they did that when Rhaenyra was wearing a white dress. They're calling it the White Wedding, I guess. She's full on Aegon now at this point. She's the Alicent we know from the books, and she's already whispering this is a bad thing. And basically, she's now going to believe that Rhaenyra, because of her kids looking this way to secure their future as heir, that her children, Aegon and all them, will be in danger. So I do understand that to some degree, as Otto told her last episode. If she takes a throne, she'll have to kill your kids. And I don't really see Rhaenyra ever doing that, but I do kind of see the point, I guess, to kind of make more sense, because Alicent, at least at this point, is full on Team Green, full on supporting her son Aegon instead of her former best friend Rhaenyra, who is the actual heir to the Iron Throne.
People have eyes.
Again, a couple more shots of Lionel Strong, for example. People have eyes, and then Rhaenyra holding Joffrey again. So this is obviously during this time period for this episode when everybody's saying, yeah, these are not her kids. These are not Laenor's kids. They're definitely somebody else's, likely Sir Harwin Strong, and that's where they get the nicknames and all that stuff as well.
The consequences.
See a couple shots here of Alicent and the Clubfoot and Viserys as we continue the voiceover, basically about, this is the rumors and the children, all that kind of stuff as well.
Of an allegation like the one you twirled.
Somebody here in a cell, I saw this when I watched it the first time, and I still can't tell who this is. I see dark hair, brown hair, but I really can't tell who's throwing this dungeon here or even where this is. This could be the Black Sails in King's Landing. Can't really tell, obviously, from the dark nature of the shot. Could be Dragonstone, maybe somebody whispering rumors or whatever, and Rhaenyra has them thrown in a cell.
Would be done.
And then here we have a shot here of somebody being carried on a stretcher, a makeshift stretcher. I don't know exactly where this is. By the look of them, I can't really tell. This is definitely not Gold Cloaks, as we saw before. This may be Harrenhal. There is something that's going to happen in Harrenhal, but I don't think it'll happen quite yet. We see a little fire left over here. Somebody's being carried off here, but I can't tell. I don't see any sigils. Pretty plain armor, and of course, the Strongs are the Lords of Harrenhal, and we have seen their armor before, so I think if this was Harrenhal, we'd definitely see some sigils here on the armor. So I don't think it's Harrenhal. I was just saying there is something that comes up there later. But that should be a little bit later in the time period. So I don't know exactly where this is, but it does look like some shit's been burned here. But at this point, there's no actual dragons fighting other dragons and other Targaryens and all that stuff because the actual war hasn't started yet. So I'm not exactly sure what this is here and who's carrying this dude off here on the stretcher, as I really can't see any markings or sigils whatsoever, and it's just a really quick shot. And last but not least, we get a quick shot of Jacaerys or Lucerys here. I'm not sure which one it is, honestly. I don't know. Again, I didn't keep up with the actors. But it's one of those two. Obviously, they're the older kids, very close to the same age. Joffrey's still the baby in this point. And this will either be Vermax or Arax. This is what I was saying before. It could be that we saw the one shot where I think it's Sunfire being presented to Aegon. This could be the same shot where it's actually Vermax or whatever being presented to Jacaerys. That's very possible. I'm just, again, going off by the earlier teaser we had where that was clearly a golden dragon, at least looked to me. A lot of new characters, a lot of new kids going to be in the mix now. Actors are changing, so no longer we have young Alicent and young Rhaenyra. Really enjoyed Millie Alcock as Rhaenyra. And so shout out to them, Emily Carey as Alicent as well. And that will be the end of their run here on House of the Dragon as we move forward 10 years, and I believe that's it here. And we move forward 10 years into House of the Dragon, so things are really starting to pop off here as we saw kind of a big jump last episode as things started to change. Alicent kind of suddenly went from Miss Innocent, prudish, really religious to all of a sudden wearing green, and they actually brought that up. So I'm not sure how they're going to do that. That's supposed to be happening in a tournament where Alicent wears green and Rhaenyra wears black and all that good stuff, but they kind of went ahead and done that, so maybe there's another event or whatever where they get the actual name, the black and the greens. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Going to be interesting. A lot of stuff going to start happening. It's going to get a little bit more complicated, and we're really kind of building up fast here for the last half of the season. For the dance itself to start, probably at the very end of the season, we'll see First Blood, and then all of Season 2 and 3, obviously, will be the full Dance of the Dragons. Anyway, guys, as usual, thank you for all the support. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And again, thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon as well. And a huge shout out to my executive Patreon SmokeScreen producers. And of course, if you dig what I do here, please give these videos a like, comment, and a share. And of course, hit that subscribe button as we try to turn this channel around and get back on track to 100,000 subscribers. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.